Hello and welcome to Cracking 1 Million Passwords with Python. You're joining us for this special Cyber Skills Live as part of Computer Science Education Week. For this year's Hour of Code, we want you to explore, play and create with code. And with computer science, we could do all sorts of amazing, inspiration, thrilling and fun things. My name's Daniel, I'm an engineer and I'm interested in all things tech and security. And you are about to get hands-on and learn cybersecurity skills in this interactive activity. Our digital world is powered by technology. From exchanging messages to turning on the lights, we rely on tech every day without realizing the impact and the power that it has over our lives. And it's super important that we protect it properly. If you're thinking about a career in cybersecurity, you'd play a really key role in protecting our digital world. And in Scotland, for every 2 jobs in this area, there's only 1 applicant. So there's a huge opportunity for you to have a really interesting and varied career. We need more people with digital skills to help make us more resilient against things like cyber attacks. I'm coming to you today from my Security Operations Centre, and there are hundreds of you tuning in, watching us on the live stream right now on YouTube. Hello to you all. I'm here with Python programmer and password cracker extraordinaire, Craig. Hey Craig, how are you doing?
Hi Daniel, I'm really good. I'm looking forward to this activity this afternoon. Hello everyone and happy Computer Science Education Week. Thank you for joining us. So there is a really wide range of careers in the cybersecurity industry. Like, technology skills are always going to be really valuable, but it's not just a career for techies. It's a lot more than just sitting behind a computer. There are jobs in marketing, legal, project management and more. It's something that can go across all sectors and skills. It really is a career option for everyone. The career that we're going to be talking about today is working as a forensic computer analyst. Now, if you're a teacher and you're joining with your class today, you can let us know how your class is getting on. You can use the hashtag Hour of Code and you can tag at Digital World HQ. We really love to see people taking part and enjoying doing these activities with us.
So today you are going to become forensic computer analysts, and using Python code, you're going to learn how cyber criminals can crack passwords.
Passwords prevent people from accessing our computers, important websites and personal emails. In this interactive lesson, you'll step into the shoes of a cyber criminal and use computer code to attempt to crack a massive collection of passwords. The video streaming website Catflix has been attacked by a gang of cyber criminals. The gang have stolen the login details for 1 million customers and released them onto the web. Each line of the leaked file contains a customer's username, their email address, and a version of their password. So, how are passwords stored? Well, if a company wants to save your password, they shouldn't just save it into a file as plain text. That way, if someone had access to that file, they'd be able to just read everyone's passwords. In this example, before they save your password, they pass it through a hashing function. The hashing function takes the plaintext password and turns it into a hash value that looks like this. It doesn't look like the original password anymore. It's that hashed version of the password that is stored. The best thing about using a hashing function is that it only works one way. Once something has been hashed, it's almost impossible to work out what the original word was. So when a user tries to log in to Catflix, they take the password that you've typed, they hash it, and then they compare it with the hash that they have stored for you. If those hashes match, then they let you in. So if a gang of cyber criminals has a collection of these hashed passwords, it's almost impossible to take those hashes and turn them back into the original passwords. But there is a weakness. Lots of people use weak passwords. That's passwords that are easy to guess. So we might guess that someone has used a simple password like football as their password. And there's a good chance that one of those 1 million users has done that. So we can just hash that word and try to find the hash in the list. Here it is. So now we know that John is using the password football. We've cracked it. Now it's your turn. You can write code to try and work out some of the passwords on the leaked list. Follow the instructions and let's see how many of these 1 million passwords you can crack.
Let's get started. You are going to investigate this massive list of leaked passwords and see how many you can crack. Craig, are you ready?
I'm ready, let's do it.
You're ready, brilliant. Well, what you have to do is go to cyberskillslive.com. So at the bottom of the screen, you will see a web address. Head there, go on any modern web browser. So whether it's Chrome or Firefox or Edge, it's going to work in your web browser. And what you do is you click start the activity, start the live lesson at the top of the page. So see cracking 1 million passwords at a red button, you press the red button.
If you've just joined us now, you've still got time, go to cyberskillslive.com. At the top of the page, there's a bit that says start the live lesson. It says cracking 1 million passwords. That's the part you click on. You don't need any extra software. You can do it straight through your web browser. And what we're going to do is we're all going to work together today to try and crack these 1 million passwords. It'll be in different steps and we're going to work through at our own pace. So me and Daniel are going to attempt to do some pair programming. We're going to code it together. So if you're just watching and you're not taking part, you can join, you can watch us do it, be part of it as well. But you can work with your class through it at your own pace. Now, there are hundreds of you taking part this afternoon. And cracking passwords is quite an intensive task for a processor to do. If at any point things are slowing down or something doesn't work, just wait 1 minute, just refresh your page and everything should work again. But Daniel and I will be following along. We'll be able to see reports from you about how far you're getting on through the tasks. And Daniel, I think we should be getting, I'm looking forward to seeing how many we can crack within the next sort of 40 minutes.
Yes, I bet you didn't think there'd actually be 1 million passwords, but there is genuinely going to be 1 million passwords for you to crack. So by the time we get to 2:45, you're going to be an expert at cracking passwords with Python. So Craig, we've got this big list of 1 million passwords that have been leaked from Capflex. Mm-hmm. Does this thing actually happen in the real world?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So LinkedIn, which is a social network for businesses and business professionals, they had a cybersecurity incident where millions of their users' emails and versions of their passwords were leaked. And they didn't just have 1 million passwords that got leaked, Daniel. They had, reports said up to 700 million passwords were released. And the cybersecurity experts, those forensic analysts, they looked at those passwords and they could tell that they were easy to unscramble. It was easy to work out what the original password was because of the way that LinkedIn had been storing them. And that's the exact same problem that we're investigating today with this Capflex data breach.
Okay, so this is actually really representative, Craig. So the data that we're going to be cracking, these passwords we've got from Capflex, is fictional. It's not real. We're using dummy passwords. These aren't real people's passwords. However, we are using the same sort of tools and processes that you would follow if you were either a forensic analyst who got their hands on this database or a cyber criminal who's got their hands on this list of passwords and trying to figure out what's happened, what's gone wrong, what are the passwords inside. So what you do is going to be representative of how someone would actually treat a list of leaked passwords, just like this.
So Daniel, what I think we should do is let's not leave all the work to all you lot at home. Why don't we do it ourselves as well? Daniel, why don't we play along? We'll show you how to go through the first step or two.
Yeah, good idea. So what we can do is we can bring up the activity. So you probably will recognize this. This is the first screen of the activity. So I'm going to scroll down and hit next. Go straight on to task 1. Because Craig, we've kind of summarized the introduction there. So task 1, it said here, Craig, is to use Python to hash a simple password. So we've got a code editor here with the code on the left and some instructions on the right. This is the main way that you're going to interact with the activity today. And if the instructions are a bit small, well, you can make them bigger. You can drag it left and right to do that. What else can we do with this trinket, Craig? It's important.
Well, yeah, if you make a mistake, then you can always reset the code back to the way that it was at the beginning. You click on that little menu at the top left, you can hit reset, and it will say, are you sure? And you can say, yes, I'm sure. Because sometimes when you're copying and pasting or changing the code, you might muck it up. You might type something wrong or put something in the wrong position. That'll be a way of fixing it. And those are the things that you need to know. So we're going to look at the task on the right. And Daniel, why don't we work through this together? So it's steps. So I'll read it to you and you can do the code. So step 1, let's use Python code to see an example of a hashed password. It says change the code in line 4 to be, and then it gives you the code to use. So it says we can copy and paste that in. That's a good idea. Let's do that. Means we don't make a mistake.
Okay, so I've copied it. I'm going to go to line 4, get rid of the code that's there because we're replacing it. And I'm going to right click and click paste. Okay.
Step 1 done. Step 2,
done.
press the run button to run the code.
Okay.
So there's the result. It says the hash of this word is, and then a big long string. A string that ends 14F0. Okay.
Okay. And it's saying here, you should see this result. And the result looks just like what we had. And yes, it does end in 14F0. So it works, Craig.
And not bad, Daniel. 2 for 2. Right, let's go for step 3. Change the code to try hashing another word. What is the hash of the word panda? Right, so this is dead straightforward, Daniel. Rather than the word night, okay, you want it to be the word panda. What bit do you change?
Okay, well, if it's the word night that's getting hashed at the moment, I can only see the word night once, and it's in quotes. So I think we're going to change that to panda. So we're going to get rid of the word night, type in panda, and then let's press run. Okay, we've got a different hash because it doesn't end 14F0 this time, it ends in 9F24. So the last step, Craig, is to copy and paste your result into the quiz below. At the end of every task, it's going to ask you a question or two to make sure that you've been able to do the activity. So it's asking, what is the hash of the password panda? Okay, so let's scroll up and look at our result and copy and paste that hash. Now I'm going to use Control and C to copy it this time, just to save a bit of time. I'm going to use Control and V to paste it, and then we can check our answer. And Craig, we are correct. That is the hash of the word panda. So we've edited our code correctly, and we've got the right answer.
So some of you are already on task 1, some of you've completed it. If you haven't, get started now. But when you complete any task, you need to report to us and tell us that you've completed it. So you click the little message button at the bottom here, and you can tell us, so Daniel, you completed task, you hashed the word panda, so why don't you say that? I did task 1. Tell us your answer as well.
Yep.
Or I hashed the word panda or something like that. And put your name in.
I'm going to say my name, Daniel, and so you can put your name and your school in there so that we know who solved it and who to shout out. So I did task 1, Daniel at Digital Skills Education. Okay, I'm going to send that.
And you can, and that'll go into reports as well. So I can see that Gabe, for example, you've completed task 1. You find it a bit hard to begin with, but don't worry. Like the more you get used to it, the easier it will be. So why don't we allow people to go through task 1 and then task 2 as well? But Daniel, we've got lots of schools taking part today. We know that loads of people have signed up. So who have we got joining us today?
Well, I can see here we have got people from Denny High School. Hello, thank you for joining us. We've also got people joining from East Dunbartonshire Council. And you know what, East Renfrewshire Council, we've got some people joining from schools in that council too. And we've got some college students at Forth Valley College taking part as well. And also Coresight, who are a company, I think.
Also, if we say your name, we say your school name, make sure you give yourself a big cheer in your class, so big that Daniel and I can hear you from the Security Operations Centre here in Glasgow. So let's hear a big cheer from Balmouldy Primary School. Thank you for joining us today. Burramuir High School, you've been with us before, thanks for coming back. Carluke High School, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Carrollside Primary School, And people from Springboard, thank you for joining us. It's great to have you part of this afternoon.
Got some more here, Craig.
Go for it. Let's see if we can get some more cheers.
Roslyn Primary School. Hello, good afternoon to you. Thank you for tuning in. We have some careers advisors from Skills Development Scotland joining us. We have
a big cheer in Skills Development Scotland's offices.
They're just down the road from me. South Lanarkshire Council, there are a few schools joining from there too. Stanwell School, hello, good afternoon. I can see some of you are definitely playing and submitting messages. We've also got people playing from the Gordon schools, and we've got people playing at West Lothian College. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking part. Good luck cracking these 1 million passwords.
Daniel, I'm so pleased because we've got a bunch of people today and they're already getting through tasks 1 and 2 as well. I can see that Ava and Zanya from Giffnock Primary, you've completed task 1 as well. And Harry and Finlay, not long after them, they completed it as well, also from Giffnock Primary. So well done. Keep going with those instructions. Can you see anyone else, Daniel, who's reported to us?
It has done it. I can see here, apologies if you just said these. I can see that Daniel from Carrollside Primary. I can see that Neve and Heather from Giffnock. Harry and Finlay at Giffnock.
And Brooke from Bridge of Weir School. I can see that you've been completing it as well. So if you've completed task 1, you're going to move on to task 2, and then 3, and then 4. But we're off to a great start. Daniel, some of these people are a bit ahead of us. Maybe we should work through task 2 or 3. What do you think?
Well, let's jump back to the activity and we'll have a wee click through it. So let's go back to the activity. So let's go on to the next step. So task 2. The task 2 is again copying and pasting some code. So you're going to change the code in task 2 so that it works through a whole list of passwords. It caches several words at the same time. So not just elephant, but also telescope and football and password at the same time. So if you've done task 2, open the message box and tell us how you've gotten on and whether you've managed to hash those.
Maybe you can tell us what the hash is of the word football. If you've completed that task, you'll be able to tell us that answer. So tell us the answer, tell us your name and what school you're part of, and if it's the right answer, we might be able to give you a little shout out. This is handy, Daniel. Who needs like a bunch of cybersecurity specialists when we can just recruit 600 learners from across Scotland?
I know, we have lots. In fact, the message box is very busy, Craig. I can see that we have more people from Carrollside, more people from Giffnock, more people from Roslyn. We've got quite a few people pasting in the hash, which is great. Remember to tell us your name and your school so that we can give you a shout out. If you just give us the answer, we don't know who it's come from.
Why don't we give people, Daniel, maybe a minute or so to keep working through the activity? It seems like people are doing well here, so I don't want to bother you too much. I'll let you get on with it.
So I can see lots of you have now completed task 1 and task 2. Don't worry if you've just joined though, you can head to cyberskillslive.com, click on the button at the top that says start the live lesson, and then work through the task. All the instructions are in there beside the code, and you can follow along and work at your own pace. You don't have to try and keep up with us, or if you are working quickly and you go ahead, that's okay too. Just go at a pace that works for you.
Daniel, tell us a bit more about this job that we're doing today. So we're thinking about all the careers and jobs that you could do in cybersecurity. And this role that we are talking about just now, it's of a forensic computer analyst. So that's someone who, well, I don't know exactly what they would do, Daniel. How would we find out?
Yeah, so a good place to look is on the Digital World website. So let's take a look on there. So this is the Digital World website. This is a website run by Skills Development Scotland, and they've got loads of information about digital careers, but lots of information in particular about cybersecurity careers. So I've got on the cybersecurity page here, Craig, and if I scroll down a bit, got a nice video. But down here we've got a sort of a grid of different careers in cybersecurity. And earlier, Craig, you were telling me that we are being forensic computer analyst today. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd say that's the closest job to what we are doing today. So yeah, let's click on that and see what that
if we
is.
click on that, we can get a bit more information about this job role. So I can see here there's some different names that job might have depending on the company. But we've also got some information about the typical duties that job would have,
yeah,
or the salary range that someone might earn. So Craig, it's in here that the salary range is £25,000 to £60,000. Now, the average salary in Scotland is about £30,000, isn't it? So you could be earning
you could
twice.
Double
you could
average
potentially
amount.
earn double. So it's a really well-paid job to go into.
I hope we're not going to get billed by all these pupils taking on this job today, Daniel, as well.
I know.
But look, it's definitely the right sort of thing, because the very first, see that typical duties thing at the top there, like what would you do? Investigates and reports on data breaches and other hacking attempts. That's exactly what we're doing just now. And we are investigating one of these data breaches. So yeah, this is exactly the role that we're talking about today. So if you want to find out more about jobs and careers in the digital world in Scotland, then Digital World's website, which is digitalworld.net, is a good place to check out after the lesson today. But you need to do that after we've cracked these passwords. My goal, Daniel, is to get as many of these millions completed as possible just now.
Yes. Now I can see here that Neve and Heather have managed to give us the hash for football.
Brilliant.
So has Callum from Carol's side.
Yep. I can see that a lot of primary school pupils doing well, Carol's side doing well. Some of you are asking for shout outs as part of your message, but you've not given us the answer. You need to tell us, like, you'll get that if you do the work for us and you get on with it. So we've done tasks 1 to 4. Some of you are on tasks 5 and 6 now. We've still got another 15 minutes or so, I think, so you've got time to keep going. Maybe, Daniel, we could jump into a little task and have another shot at it ourselves while we play along.
Yeah, good idea, Craig. Let's do another task together. So maybe we could do task 3 together.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, maybe 3 or 4. Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, go for 3.
Go for 3. So task 3 is all about us trying to understand the hashing algorithm that Catflix are using. So the hashing function is really just a sort of piece of math that scrambles up the password and turns it into these big, long sort of series of characters, and you can't tell what the original password was. And that's what the data that we've got from Catflix looks like. We've got lots of these known hashes, but we don't know what those passwords look like. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out which algorithm they've used. So we're going to follow the instructions to try and figure that out. So
this is the thing, we know that they've used a hashing algorithm, but we need to detect which one it is they've used. And there's only a set number of them, like that they're known, like they might have used, I think we've got a list here maybe somewhere of the ones that they might use.
We're about to find out the list. So we're going to
perfect.
change some code here to import another function. So let's just follow the instructions as they are. So we're changing line 2 to this. And then we're going to copy some more code and put it on line 7. Well, do you know what? There isn't a line 7 yet. So I'm going to add in another line. So click and press enter. And I'm going to paste in this code. And Craig, we are running the code. And you were saying we needed a list of the different algorithms?
Yes.
We've got it. Here's our list of algorithms.
So these are all the possible ones that it could be. These are all real hashing algorithms. So SHA-256, Shake-256, MD5, Blake 2B. I haven't even heard of all of these, but they do all exist. And what we need to do is work out which one it is. And if you follow the instructions in this task, it will tell you how to try and work out which one is the correct one. We need to see if we can find a match. So if you complete task 3, then you can tell us what the answer to that is. So there's a little bit of copy and pasting needed, Daniel. Why don't you show us how to do that? I think we've had a couple of questions about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to undo that. So here it's asking us to put some code on line 9. Now, line 9 didn't exist, so I'm going to have to add in some more space to copy that in. So I'm going to copy this code, and you know what, I'm going to copy it all at the same time. I'm going to make it easy for myself. Rather than copy them one by one, let's just copy and paste once. So I'm going to paste that in. And it's saying here, this code will hash the word rainbow1515 and store it in a variable called result. And it's using the SHA-1 algorithm. So, okay, what we know now is that Capflix are not using SHA-1. So we need to try out all these different ones to try and find out which one it might be. So it's given us some instructions, Craig, to try different ones. So let's try 224, and it said change the code on line 9 so that it uses SHA-2. Let's find line 9. We don't want to use SHA-1, we want to use SHA-224, a different algorithm. It's not a match this time, Craig.
No. I think we need to get everyone else, so what you should be doing in your class is trying out these other ones. See if you can tell me and Daniel which is the correct hashing algorithm that we should be using. I know that there's a bunch of you already working through it, so some of you will have the answer. You can message that to us as well, and we'll give you the credit for it as well. I can see that we've had a tweet from Stanwell Computing who've been playing along as well. Thank you for joining us this afternoon as well. We'll need everybody's help to crack these passwords.
Yes, I can see quite a few of you have managed to do tasks 2, 3, 4, and you know, some people are even on task 5, which is really good progress. So well done to Zainab, well done to Harry, Finley, and Ronald, and Kian.
We can see pupils from Carrollside Primary School. You were able to hash the words football, telescope, and elephant. Well done for completing that as well. I can see your sort of secret code name there as well, but I don't want to give that away. Well done, Kian, for working through the tasks as well. We can see that you're making good progress as well. So if you know the name of the hashing algorithm, if you worked that out on task 3, tell me and Daniel so that we can fill in the code. Send it in that message box.
Yes, there's quite a few different ones to try out, but one of them will be a match. But we need to figure out which one is going to be the match. So whoever tells us first is going to get a special shout out. So there's some motivation. They are going to get the credit.
Is that what you would call like a bounty, Daniel? Like a, you know, like a bug bounty style thing? Like whoever finds the key piece of evidence, we can give them a shout out?
Well, perhaps. Normally it's big amounts of money, but if shout outs work, shout outs work.
Shout outs on this lesson are priceless. Zainab and Aiza, you finished task 3. You need to tell us the answer so that we know, so that we can do it. I can see that you finished it, but you need to tell us what was the name of the hashing algorithm we used so that we can feed it into our code.
Yeah, like was it Shake? Was it MD5? Was it SHA-512? Was it Blake? Could be. Don't know which one it is. Please tell us in the message box, and that's going to help us out because then we can move on as well to the next task. Big, I'm trying these out at the same time. I'm multitasking here. I can tell you it's not SHA-512. Okay. It's not Shake-256. It's not Blake 2B. I keep choosing all the ones it's not. Maybe the next one I try will be the real one. It's not SHA-384.
Hang on.
Not Blake 2S.
I've had some intelligence come in, Daniel.
Have you? Okay.
Can you try MD5? Can we bring that up?
Yes.
I've had
let's
a
see.
couple of people start to tell me MD5 seems to work, but I just want to check that.
Okay. MD5. Run. Okay, fingers crossed. Craig, we found it. That is the.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Oh, well done.
Great.
So well done to the users that got that answer right. We're now on, so that's the end of task 4, but we need to keep going. So some of you are, do you know what, I can see some of you are just starting, so you're at task 1 and 2, don't worry. The activity will be here all afternoon, so you'll still have time to play through it all. But Daniel, I think in a couple of minutes time, are you going to give us the answer? Thank you. Thanks, Daniel.
Just so we remember for later. Okay. And we've got 8 tasks in total. But don't worry if you don't get through them all just now. These are going to stay there and they'll be up for you to do anytime. So if you want to continue later today, or you want to do it at home, or you want to take some more time maybe next week or something, that's okay. You can continue with the task there.
Why don't we give people, Daniel, maybe a minute to work through it at their own pace, and then we can work out what task we want to do next.
Great. Meet you in a minute.
This is going really well. I'm seeing a lot of your messages coming through here. I know for a lot of you, this is the first time you've tried out computer programming using Python. Probably the first time you've ever tried to crack 1 million passwords from a leaked database. Probably. But I can see Lucy, Lara from Giffnock Primary, well done. You're getting your answers right there. And Aidan and Jude, you found the correct hashing algorithm as well. I can see some people finding it, challenging, they've said, the points of that are difficult. And that's because this is the first time you've been doing this. But if you just work through those instructions and you follow them, you'll be able to get to those tasks. And by the time you get to task 7 and 8, you'll be ready to crack the full set of 1 million passwords. But you're already making good progress on it.
Yes, well done. There's a lot of you at Giffnock that are on task 4 now, which is brilliant. You can see here Fletcher at Carrollside is also on task 4. I think, Craig, maybe we could do task 4 as well. But just before we do that, I know this is definitely a lot of your first time doing programming, or a lot of your first time using Python. Craig, what's Python and why is it a good programming language for us to use? Who uses Python?
So Python is one of the most popular computer programming languages in the world, and the way that you write the code, as you've seen in those instructions, you use English-like words and phrases. It's a bit like something you can read. It's not really complicated symbols or anything like that. And Python is used in education a lot because it's a good way to get started programming. It's kind of easy to understand in that way. But it's also used by big companies as well. Companies like Facebook and YouTube and even NASA use Python for parts of their projects as well. So this isn't something that is just a sort of toy language or for teaching programming. This is actually used in businesses all the time as well. So Python is a really important tool, and the fact that you're getting to try it out just now and a lot of you are being able to use it well is a good sign as well. So well done for doing your work on that so far. And certainly if computer coding is something you're interested in, then you could maybe look into learning a bit more about Python. There's some great books out there that cover it.
So Craig, a lot of people I can see are doing task 4 at the moment. I think let's us do task 4 as well. And you can follow along with us if you'd like, or you can just kind of check it out, or you can tune out and work ahead. It's up to you. But let's bring up task 4.
Let's do it, Daniel. Let's do task 4 together.
So task 4, it's saying, great, we now know which hashing function Catflix we used. You've just told us that it's MD5, so we're one step closer. We've got 1 million passwords to crack, but let's start with a small list. Let's start with just 100. So we've got a file that has usernames,
Yep.
which are in the form of emails, and then these hashed passwords. We want to know if anyone is using the word password as their password. So we're going to edit the code, tell us who is using password as their password.
So how this works, Daniel, is, I mean, you're going to be copying and pasting the code here, but because we know that they're using MD5, we know what the word password would look like if it is hashed using MD5. So really, we're just looking for a match. We're trying to say, okay, out of all these people, have any of these, is it 100 people, Daniel?
Yeah, 100 people at the moment.
And using the word password itself is a common thing that people do. So there's probably a good chance that at least one of these people will have used password as their password. Can we try it?
Yeah, let's try it. So let's follow these steps. So I've just done step 1, which was to copy and paste this and put it on line 4. So that's our function we've been using earlier that gets us the hashed password. So we're going to get the hash for the word password and use the MD5 function because we know that's what Catflix are using. We've then got that other tab, which has the leaked data. That's the one that we were just scrolling up and down on with those 100 customers. Step 3 is to change line 7. So let's edit line 7. So what this is saying is we're going to look through that leaked data list with 100 people in it. And then our last instruction here is to edit the code on line 11 to use variables called result and PW. And it's telling us here the best way to do that is to edit the letters A and B to result and PW. For the letter A, Craig, we're going to get rid of the letter A.
Yep.
And change that to result.
Mm-hmm. And then B, you're going to change to PW.
PW. Okay.
And it says below it needs to match that exactly. Well, yeah, it does. I can see that as well. So I think we're ready to run the code and find out who's using a bad password.
Yes. Is anyone using the word password as their password? Well, Craig, 2 people are. That's unbelievable. You would think people wouldn't choose password as their password anymore, but we found 2 people are definitely doing it. S. Hughes at Jackson and Wayne59 at yahoo.co.uk are both using the word password as their password. I would have thought people would be better than that in 2022, but some people still use the word password.
It is still a really common password to use, Daniel. I mean, we were talking to a security expert just last week who, looks after, big systems for IT companies. And he basically told us the same thing, Daniel, didn't he? He said people need to be choosing better passwords. And he said he was still shocked at how many companies were storing passwords in a bad way, like the way that Catflix has been doing in this example we're talking about today.
Yes. So now that we know that 2 people are using the word password as their password, we can answer the question underneath. So we have cracked 2 passwords. Only 999,998 passwords left. So we're going to check that answer. Craig, we're correct. We can move on to the next task.
This is brilliant. Daniel, I can see a lot of people are working through this activity now. There's some people on task 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe before we wrap up, why don't we give people a little preview of what task 8 looks like?
Yes, so let's go to task 8. So I'm just going to click next, even though I've not done them. Task 6, 7, and the last task is task 8. This is where you get to crack 1 million passwords.
Yeah, this is what you're going to be working towards. So rather than trying to crack 5, 10, 15 passwords, what we've done, there's instructions to follow again that show you how to do it. And that's how you'll get to the point where you can start trying to crack all those 1 million passwords.
Yes, so we've got the instructions on the right again. And we've got the series of the parts. And each one of these parts is 25,000 emails and hashed passwords. So we're going to have to follow the instructions to copy these details into our leaked list. And then that was step 1. Step 2 was to then run the code and see who is using a poor password.
Daniel, everyone is... Oh, are you going to...
I'm going to hit run.
Okay.
This is a really complicated calculation. So if we are doing... So if it's 25,000 people, right? And we're seeing if they've chosen a password in the top most commonly used passwords. Well, that's 25,000 times 1,000. Well, it's 25 million calculations we're having to do. That's a lot of calculations. But it's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's taken much longer than you would have normally, than some of the early examples, which just had very basic sort of things going on as well. These ones are taking much longer. So Daniel, we're coming towards the end, but let's give people maybe another minute or so to work to see those passwords come up, and then we can wrap things up.
That was a preview of step 8. So I can see loads of you are doing really well. I can see that Lara and Lucy have finished task 4. I can see that Ronnie, Jay and Angus are finding it a bit tricky, but they're doing well. I can see that Miss Glasgow is doing well as well.
Yeah, teachers are allowed to help out and crack the passwords as well. So thank you if you're a teacher bringing your class along. We appreciate that too. Daniel, people have been doing absolutely brilliantly, and I know that you're going to be able to keep using this activity even when we finish this live stream. So you'll be able to use it in the class. The website will stay up. You'll be able to play it afterwards. You can even go home and play it as well. But I think, Daniel, people have done a brilliant job.
They have, and they've done quite a lot of work. So in the last 45 minutes, you have gotten yourself up to speed with Python, which, like you were saying, Craig, is one of the most popular programming languages in the world. Being able to use Python is a really important skill in tech. It makes you very valuable. You edited some Python code to hash some passwords, and then you used that code to find the matches of people who are using poor passwords. And then in the next few steps, you automated the whole thing to search for these poor passwords in that list of 1 million people's passwords. That's a really good job, Craig. This would take people a lot longer, I think, in industry to do. I think in 45 minutes, this is brilliant.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad for 45 minutes work. Thank you for being part of our cybersecurity team. We hope that if you ever have to store passwords, that you're going to do a much better job of protecting them. Now, remember, we're on YouTube today. So if you are a teacher and you're watching this video, you can like this video. You can subscribe to our channel so that you get all our future activities as well. We've got some interesting things coming up. Next week, we're doing a Meet the Expert chat with some people who work in the esports industry. And then in the new year, we're going to have another one of these live lessons as well on a different topic. Daniel, I couldn't resist being on YouTube, and we need to tell people to like and subscribe. Surely that's something you automatically have to do.
Yeah, if you subscribe to our channel, you'll get a reminder whenever we go live or we post a new video. So we make lots of different resources, we put guides up here, and we also do lots of live lessons like this one. So if you subscribe, you'll be the first to find out. If you're a teacher or an adult, you can also tweet us, of course. So send us a photo of your class or a photo of screens as you crack these passwords. We always really like to see those. You can use the hashtag #OutOfCode and you can mention us at Digital World HQ.
We've had so much fun cracking these passwords with you this afternoon. Why don't you try out some of our other cybersecurity activities? So if you go on to cyberskillslive.com, there's about 20 different games and activities you can try out. Maybe you want to defend Stirling Castle from a cyber attack. Or maybe now that you've got a taste of cybercrime, you'll want to try out how to steal a pizza, which is one of our most popular lessons. So yeah, go into cyberskillslive.com.
But for now, that is the end of this lesson. We hope you have enjoyed cracking 1 million passwords. Thank you very much for joining us. But it's bye from Craig.
Bye-bye.
And it's bye from me as well. See you next time.